On a humid afternoon in August for 10 AD, the gates of Rome opened. They weren't battered down by a battering ram. They weren't blown apart by explosives. They were opened from the inside, quietly, by slaves who had simply lost faith in the empire they served. For the first time in 800 years, the Eternal City was sacked. But the history books often get this moment wrong. They tell you Rome fell that afternoon. But I dug into the archives, and I found something else. The real collapse didn't happen when the Visigoths marched in. It happened exactly 50 years earlier in the minds of the people. It happened when Rome entered what historians call Stage 5, and as I looked at the charts on my desk last night, the blood drained from my face. Because for the first time in 250 years, the United States has just entered the exact same coordinate. Most people are prepping for a stock market crash. They are buying gold or Bitcoin or bunkers, but they are looking at the wrong map. The collapse isn't coming for your wallet first. It's coming for your mind. This is the story of the 7 stages of empire, and why the stage we just entered is the most dangerous of them all. Welcome to the investigation. To understand where we are, we have to look at the pattern. I want you to picture a human life. You are born, you grow, you peak, you age, and you die. Empires are biological organisms. They breathe, they bleed, and they have a lifespan. Sir John Glubb, A British 17th Empire, from the Assyrians to the British. He found something that defies logic. They all lasted virtually the same amount of time, about 250 years, 10 generations. It didn't matter if they had horses or steam engines. The clock always stopped at 250. America is currently 248 years old. Let that sink in for a second. We are 2 years away from the statistical expiration date, but dates are just numbers. The behavior is what matters. Let me walk you through the first 4 stages quickly, so you can see the trap we just stepped into. Stage 1 is the outburst. This is the birth. Think of George Washington crossing the Delaware. It's gritty, it's violent. It's a group of people with nothing to lose and a shared dream. They have incredible energy and courage. They are the pioneers. Then comes Stage 2, the Age of Conquest. This is where the map grows. For America, this was the expansion west, the railroads, the gold rush. We were unstoppable. We built things that the world said were impossible. Then we moved into Stage 3, the Age of Commerce. This is the Industrial Revolution, the factories of Detroit, the steel mills of Pittsburgh. We stopped fighting for land and started fighting for market share. This is when the world started buying. Made in the USA, it felt like the party would never end. And that led to Stage 4, the Age of Affluence. This is the post-war boom. The 1950s, the 1990s, the era of the credit card. The era of keeping up with the Joneses. In this stage, the struggle for survival disappears. You don't worry about starving. You worry about your brand of sneakers. But here is the twist. This comfort is a poison. Because when you don't have to fight to survive, you start fighting each other. And that brings us to the moment the music stopped. Stage 5, the Age of Intellect. This sounds like a good thing, doesn't it? Intellect means smart. Intellect means progress. But in the life cycle of an empire, intellect is the code word for paralysis. This is where the United States is right now. Let me show you the symptoms. I want you to walk through a modern American city with me. Look at the skyline. It's not filled with factories anymore. It's filled with consulting firms. It's filled with law offices. It's filled with universities. In stage 5, the empire stops us talking. We stop building bridges and start writing papers about building bridges. We stop exploring space and start debating the ethics of space exploration. Sir John Glubb wrote that in this stage, public life becomes a platform for controversy. Does that sound familiar? Turn on the news. It's 24 hours of arguing. It's not debate, it's theatre. In stage 5 intertribes. Because we have no external enemy, we create internal ones. Your neighbor becomes your enemy because of who they voted for. But here is the part they don't tell you in school. This intellectual obsession leads to a very specific kind of rot, bureaucracy. I found a statistic that blew my mind. In the last 50 years, the number of administrators at Yale University rose much faster than the number of students. We have more people managing the work than doing the work. This happened in Rome too. Toward the end, Rome had more tax collectors than soldiers. The system becomes so complex that it freezes. You try to fix a pothole, and it takes 3 committees and a lawsuit. You try to start a business, and you drown in paperwork. This is the intellect trap. We think we are getting smarter, but we are actually just getting slower. And while we are arguing on Twitter, the wolves are circling. This is the most terrifying part of stage 5, the pacifism of wealth. We lose the stomach for defense. We think we can talk our enemies out of attacking us. We think that because we are civilized, everyone else plays by our rules. But history laughs at this. While the Romans were debating philosophy in the Senate, the barbarians were sharpening iron. While we debate gender politics in the military, our rivals are building hypersonic missiles. It's a harsh truth. But stage 5 is when the empire convinces itself that words are mightier than swords, until the sword shows up at the door. Now, I want to whisper a secret to you. The reason stage 5 feels so heavy right now isn't just the politics, it's the loss of the shared narrative. In stage 1, in stage 2, in stage 5, what are we? Ask 10 Americans what it means to be American. You will get 10 different answers. And 5 of them will be angry. We have lost the story that binds us together. And when the story breaks, the tribe scatters. This is why mental health issues are skyrocketing. This is why depression is the new pandemic. Humans need a purpose. And consuming products is not a purpose. Arguing on the internet is not a purpose. We are starving for meaning in the wealthiest time in history. So, is this it? Are we just waiting for stage 6, the age of decadence? Stage 6 is the party before the funeral. It's bread and circuses, celebrity worship, obsession with sports while the currency collapses, sexual frivolity and the breakdown of the family unit. If you look closely, we are already dipping our toes into stage 6. But I promised you I wouldn't just list bad news, because there is a variable that Glubb didn't account for. He was studying empires that moved at the speed of horses. We move at the speed of light. The internet accelerated the collapse, yes, but it can also accelerate the solution. This is where we go off script. This is where we beat the pattern. I looked at the few civilizations that managed to dodge the bullet, or at least reinvent themselves before the crash. They all did one thing. They skipped back to stage 1. They didn't try to fix the bureaucracy of stage 5. They ignored it. They built parallel systems. They created a renaissance, a rebirth. This is the path forward for you. If the system is in stage 5, you must be in stage 1. You need to become a pioneer again. What does that look like today? It means decoupling your life from the rotting institutions. If the universities are broken, don't send your kids there. Teach them a trade. Teach them to build. If the food system is fragile, plant a garden. Buy from local farmers. If the money is losing value, buy assets that you can touch. But more importantly, you need to build a microtribe. The empire is too big to save as a whole right now. But you can save your street. You can save your community. The breakdown of the shared narrative nationally means you need a strong narrative locally. Who are your people? Who will you rely on when the ATM stops working? Stage 5 is characterized by isolation. The antidote is connection. Real connection, not digital likes. I'm talking about dinner tables. I'm talking about handshakes. I'm talking about trust. There is a concept called the remnant in every collapsing empire. There is a small group of people who keep the flame alive. They preserve the books. They preserve the skills. They preserve the values of truth and hard work. When the Romang Empire fell, the monks in Ireland copied the manuscripts. They saved civilization while the continent burned. You are the modern monk. But instead of a monastery, you have the internet. You have the ability to learn any skill in the world for free. You have the ability to connect with other pioneers instantly. This is our advantage. The technology that distracts the masses is the same technology that can liberate the few. So, here is my challenge to you. Stop watching the news. It is designed to keep you trapped in the anxiety of stage 5. It wants you to argue. It wants you to be scared. Turn it off. Look at your hands. What can you build? Look at your family. How can you strengthen them? Look at your finances. Are you dependent on a system that is flashing red? The government cannot stop the cycle. No president can stop the cycle. History is a heavy wheel, and it has too much momentum. But you can step off the tracks. You can declare your own personal independence. You can enter your own age of pioneers. The sun is setting on the old version of the world. That is undeniable. The shadows are getting long. But the sunset is only the end if you are afraid of the dark. For the pioneers, the sunset is just the signal to light a fire. The collapse of an empire is not the end of the world. It is the end of an illusion. And what comes next depends entirely on who is left standing when the dust settles. Don't be the victim of history. Be the author of the next chapter. The cycle is ending. But your story is just beginning.